Share. Good morning, everybody. I am Joan McDonald. I am Chair of the New York State Bridge Authority. Today is March 21st, 2024. It is our monthly meeting. I will call the roll and then we will have a motion to open the meeting. Maria Bruni. Present. Alex Berardi.
Present.
Lanny Gilbert.
Present.
Michael O'Brien.
Present.
And I am present. We have a quorum and we have noticed the meeting in accordance with New York State public officers and open meeting laws. Do I have a motion to open the meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, Lanny. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alex. All in favor of opening the meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, we have a full agenda today. We will start with the public comments. Chris, first up is Maria Idoni. Maria, welcome. Good morning, Maria. Welcome.
There goes early.
Is that the audio? Maria, can you see us? We can't hear her.
You're muted.
You're
You're
muted.
muted. You're muted, Maria.
You're muted.
Sorry about that. Last time I was watching your meeting for about 10 minutes before I was called to speak. So I was still working. I was thrown off. I'm very sorry for the delay.
Right.
So thank you for having me again. My name is Maria Idoni. I'm a Dutchess County resident. Last month at this board meeting, there was some contention over the numbers of suicidal incidences that were occurring on your bridges. So this morning, I just wanted to come back and clarify those numbers that I spoke of. Based on public reporting in 2023, you had 7 deaths from your bridges. 4 were from the Bear Mountain, 1 Newburgh Beacon, and 1 from Kingston Rhinecliff, and 1 from the walkway. So along with those 7 deaths, there were 3 attempts and 1 accidental death. So for a total of 11 suicidal incidences and accidents from your bridges in 2023. In 2022, based on the data, as well as publicly reported data, there were 8 deaths from the bridges, 7 attempts and 1 accidental death, for a total of 16 suicidal incidences and accidents from your bridges in 2022. So thus far, only a few months into 2024, we have 2 deaths from your Bear Mountain and Rip Van Winkle, and 1 attempt from the walkway over the Hudson. Each suicidal incident and accident do not only affect the person, but the community and family of that person, the first responders who answer these calls, and the witnesses who are unwillingly exposed to witnessing those traumatic events. So if you'd like a complete list of the publicly suicidal events reported to have occurred on your bridges, we'd be happy to provide you with that list. And we encourage you to also keep track of those numbers of people negatively impacted by these bridges. So thank you again for your time and for listening to me.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, we have Andrew Famulari. Are you on?
Andrew, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
See you.
Okay, sorry, stand by.
Oh, there we can now see you. Welcome. You want to provide your public comments, 3 minutes. We appreciate your thoughts. The floor is
Thank
yours.
you. Thank you, and good morning. My name is Andrew Famulari. I represent the Hudson Valley chapter of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and I wanted to use this time to talk a little bit about partial fencing of the bridges that are in the scope of the authority. The installation of barriers on these bridges can and has been proven to prevent suicides by jumping. Bridge barriers can delay jumps, which provides time for emergency services and intervention and hopefully a suicidal crisis that passes. As the Bridge Authority was told in 2008 by John Draper from the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, above all, it should be made clear to inquiring authorities that barriers are the most effective means of preventing suicides on bridges. At last month's authority board meeting, there was some discussion of an amount of $11 million being set aside for suicide prevention, but that discussion was limited as to what suicide prevention actually entailed. So I want to remind you that in April of 22, the board received multiple proposals from Majeski and Masters, the cheapest of which would cost $10.5 million, but would fence all 6 bridges that are in scope. And even if you factor in inflation today, $11 million would still allow you to fence more than one bridge. And the last bit of information that I wanted to convey is that for fencing to be effective, it has to cover the bridge's entire span, because partial barriers drastically and significantly reduce the effectiveness of barriers and of suicide prevention. And in addition to the entire length of the bridge, the fencing should also be at least 7.5 feet in height if we are to consider it effective. And I look forward to hearing about how the $11 million will be used for suicide prevention in the future. Thank you for your time.
That concludes the public comment portion of our agenda. Chris, unless we've received any other members of the public who wish to speak. Nope. Okay, great. Thank you. The board meeting is in session. First, we have 2 committee meetings that we will undertake. First up is the governance committee meeting. We have Maria Bruni, Alex Berardi, and myself as members of that committee. Do I have a motion to open the committee meeting? Second? Thank you. The committee meeting is open. First up is to adopt the minutes of the February 15th, 2024 governance committee meeting. Any questions or comments about those meeting minutes? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve and adopt the governance committee meeting minutes?
So moved.
Okay, second?
Second.
I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni?
Aye.
Alex Berardi?
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The meeting minutes are approved. Next up, we have an amendment to the Bridge Authority Code of Ethics, which Kevin is going to which Kevin is going to present.
Good morning. As part of the 2023 audit, the authority's budget office guideline related to conflict of interest was raised to verify compliance. At the request of the CFO Treasurer, I compared the ABO recommended practice with the NYSBA policy contained within the Code of Ethics section of the Employee Handbook. As a result, I recommend that the Governance Committee adopt the following changes to comply with the ABO requirements. Adding some bulleted descriptions of typical conflicts, setting obligations and procedures for disclosing conflicts or the appearance of conflicts, adding a requirement that the person with the conflict of interest or appearance cannot participate in board or committee deliberation or vote on a matter giving rise to such a conflict or appearance, and adding a requirement that the existence and resolution of the conflict or appearance of the conflict be documented in the public record.
Do any of the committee members have any questions or comments about the amendment to our Code of Ethics? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve and adopt the amendment? Thank you, Maria. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alex. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni?
Aye.
Alex Berardi? I vote in the affirmative. Does this now go through the full board for adoption?
No.
Okay, it's just the governance committee. All board members must comply. Is there any additional business that the governance committee would like to take up? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn the governance committee meeting? Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. The governance committee. Next up is the committee of the whole. Alex.
For the committee of the whole, we have the audit committee members present, Maria Bruni, Tony Gilbert, and
Hello, everyone.
finance committee with Michael Bryan, Joe McDonald, and Maria Bruni. We're going to begin the meeting by asking for the adoption of the minutes of the December 21st, 2023 audit committee. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Second. Second from the audit committee. Second. Maria, thank you. I'll take the roll. Maria Bruni.
Aye.
Ronnie Gilbert. Aye. And Alex Brody, I'm also aye. So I'm just gonna go back. I have a first from Maria and a second from Ronnie. Is that correct? Perfect. Next up will be asking, does anybody have any questions with the minutes from the December 21st, 2023 Finance Committee from Michael, Joan, and Maria? Hearing none, can I get a motion for adoption? Thank you, Michael. A second?
Second.
Second from Joe. I'll take the roll. Michael O'Brien. Aye. Joe McDonald.
Aye.
Maria Bruni.
Aye.
The minutes are adopted. Next up, we will review the EFPR Group 2023 annual report.
Okay, so we have via Zoom today our auditor, Dave Gabel from the FDR Group, and he's going to walk through some required disclosures and discussions around the annual report that was provided. Good morning, Dave.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning, Dave.
So as Brian mentioned, I get to discuss the audit with you guys. I don't know if Brian provided the document that I had given him, so everybody has it so they can follow along if they like. It's just a little 2-page document. It summarizes the financial statement information that I think is important to the board. Just starting with some general information. The audit was planned and conducted in February. I came to the offices with a team the week of February 19th. The financial statements, we expressed an unmodified opinion on the financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2023. That is a clean audit opinion. That's what you want to have, and that's what you've had all the years I've been doing the audit. We did not identify any material weaknesses in internal control related to financial reporting under government auditing standards. That's another report that we issue. Again, that's what you want. No material weaknesses noted. We also issued an examination report on the authority's compliance with investment guidelines that are established under Section 201.3 of Title II of the official compilation of codes, rules, and regulations of the state of New York. Basically, the authority complied with those investment guidelines that the state requires you to comply with. On to some financial information, results of operations. This year, your cash increased by about 2.4 million to about 3.9 million. Significant sources of cash this year. Cash of 26.5 million was provided by operations. That's running the business of the Bridge Authority. That's an increase over last year of about 40.84 million. Last year, you used cash. The increase is due to increases in your toll revenue and decreases in contractor payments and payments to suppliers. Last year, you had a lot of costs associated with the Newburgh Beacon North Span deck replacement. Without those costs, this year, you were able to provide cash of $26.5 million. This year, you used $7.65 million of cash in capital and financing activities as purchases of capital assets, where you had about $500,000 of capital assets purchased this year. And then you had payments on your principal and interest on the bonds to the tune of about $7.1 million. So that used $7.65 million of cash. You also used $17.3 million in investing activities. $22 million was used to purchase investments, and then that was offset by about $4.7 million in earnings on those investments. This year, you had a nice return on your investments. The markets improved quite a bit this year, so you're able to earn $4.7 million on those investments. Overall, your investments increased by about $22.7 million. There's details of the investments that you hold in footnote 4. As I always say, I encourage you to read all the footnotes. I won't cover all of them. I'll just give you some highlights of where certain details can be found. But of course, I encourage you to read those footnotes. And if you have any questions, just to let me know. The assets and related deferred inflows of $3.2 million are related to the dark leasing of dark fiber strands recognized in accordance with GASB 87. Footnote 6 has details of that. That was a new GASB that was implemented last year at the authority, where you have to record the leasing of those dark fiber strands. Capital assets net of accumulated depreciation decreased by about $2.9 million to about $15.64 million. And that's due to depreciation expense of about $3,450,000. It's offset by about the $5.6 million of capital assets that you purchased this year. Again, footnote 7 has details of the capital assets held by the authority. This year, your bridge system assets remained unchanged at $84.36 million. As long as you maintain the conditions of the bridge rated at a 5 condition or better, you're exempt from depreciating those bridge assets. From failure to maintain that rating of at least 5 will trigger depreciation on those bridges, and it'll cause some bonding issues. But the authority does a good job in maintaining those bridges in accordance with a condition rating of 5 or better. Deferred outflows of resources are related to pensions. They decreased this year by about $1.2 million to about $5.5 million. This amount is actually provided by actuaries that New York State ERS hand hires annually, and it details the pension. I could say details of the pension plan are included in footnote 10. There's a related pension liability of about $7.58 million. It was compared to an asset last year of $3.2 million or $3.28 million last year. This year there's a liability. This year or last year there was an asset. The related deferred inflows was only about $0.78 million this year, $780,000. Changes in the interest rates, the discount rates, the overall rates of returns on the assets invested in the system, and the contributions that are made to the system drive these actuarial valuations. You had deferred outflows of resources related to other post-employment benefits or OPEB benefits, and that amounted to about $7 million. The discount rate that the actuaries used this year went from 4.5% last year to 3.77% in the calculations. Those are actuarial determined amounts, and that change drove the change in that this year. There's also related OPEB liability of about $81.37 million and a deferred inflows of resources related to the same of about $26.81 million. Again, these amounts are provided by the actuaries, and they're really impacted by the change in interest rates, discount rates, and the healthcare cost trend rates used in that. As everyone knows, healthcare costs keep rising, so those costs greatly impact that actuarial determination that is made. This year, your accounts payable increased by about $1.65 million, and contracts payable decreased by almost the same, offset by about $1.6 million. And that's all due to the timing of payments and contract statuses at year end. As I mentioned, you completed the Newburgh Beacon North Span deck replacement, so the contracts payable would decrease because those were paid. Your OPEB liability this year increased by $4.75 million to the $81.37 million that we talked about earlier. And again, that's due to the change in your discount rates. Also, your deferred inflows related to that decreased by about $12 million to $26.8 million. Again, footnote 11 has a lot of explanation of your OPEB benefits that are provided. As I noted earlier, there's a deferred inflow of $3.2 million related to those leases, the dark fiber leases that we had to recognize, and that's a deferred inflow. It offsets the other deferred outflow we had in the leases. This year, your bond indebtedness decreased by about $4.13 million from about $143 million to about $139 million, and that's due to all scheduled payments on the bonds being paid this year. As I mentioned, your net past pension asset you had, it was $3.3 million last year. It's now a liability of about $7.6 million. You had deferred inflows related to the pensions. Those decreased by about $10.76 million to only about $780,000. Like I said, last year there was an asset, and this year there's a liability. And again, that is all a result of the changes in the market of those investments in the fund and the fund contributions and discount rates and everything. This year, the pension fund for New York State is funded at 90.78%. Last year was actually funded at 103.65%. And again, those numbers are all provided by New York State ERS actuarial valuation point reports. And again, details of the pension plan are in footnote 10. So this year, your net position was about 13.3 million negative compared to a negative of about $33 million last year. The increase, is due to the bottom line, where this year you had about $19.7 million of profit. A significant portion of that profit was related to the reduced rehabilitation costs in the current year and the increase in the toll revenues, offset by increases in salaries and benefits. Your total revenue this year amounted to about $76.3 million. That's an increase of over $4 million from the prior year. You also had traffic increases of about 4.4%. So the increases in the toll revenue were accounted for by the increase in the traffic and the increase in the toll rates. This year, overall, you had operating expenses. They decreased by about almost $85 million to just over or almost $60 million. And that's due mostly to decrease in the rehabilitation, reconstruction, and bridge repairs. And that was all offset by electronic toll cost increases, some increases in salaries and benefits. Again, the rehabilitation, reconstruction, and bridge repairs decreased about almost $30 million, and that's mainly due to the construction projects that were completed in prior years, specifically the north span of the Newburgh Beacon Bridge. So this year you had a net increase in net position of about $19.7 million compared to a decrease of about $14.6 million last year. Hopefully nobody fell asleep. Does anybody have any questions? Well, that's kind of the financial piece of the authority. And then just a couple of required communications. It's a little 3-page report that you guys should have had included as a report to the board. The accounting policies are note 2 to the financial statements. There weren't any unusual policies or policies where there was lack of authoritative guidance. All the significant estimates were evaluated and considered appropriate. Basically, estimates can be things like collectability of accounts receivable, those pension and OPEB benefits. Those are estimates. The bridge system condition assessments, those are also estimates. Those are estimates that are in the financial statements. We did not have any material uncorrected misstatements detected by our audit procedures. In fact, we did not have any corrections at all to the audit. And we had no difficulties in performing our audit. This report to the board is kind of what I call a clean report to the board. This is where we would tell you if there was anything of consequence or anything that you needed to be aware of going on at the authority. There is nothing. The authority's operations are run clean. Everything is that we've looked at is appropriate, supported. Brian and his team do a great job. And that's really all I have for you today.
Thank
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome. If you like I say, if you ever have any questions, just reach out to me. Brian has my email address. Any concerns. If that's it.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody have a good day. Thank you.
All right.
Anybody else kind of sit in awe of what a good job Brian does?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Not one miss.
Or just hides it very well. I used to have an executive director who used to say when the auditors left, now let's take out the real books.
What a bad joke.
They put me on edge. That's a different story. In any case, so the committee accepts this report because it is the auditor's report.
Right.
And then we'll move on to some of the other items.
Okay. The next up will be the review of the 2023 annual report required by section 2800 Public Authorities Law.
Okay, very good. As part of public authorities law, there are various reports that we're required to go and submit both to a system called Paris as well as certain government officials. Specifically, the head of Assembly Ways and Means, Senate Finance, as well as the ranking minority member. Those include in this package, operations on accomplishments and projects undertaken, a set of financial statements, a schedule of debt issuance, compensation for those staff earning in excess of $100,000, the annual report on real property, which appears a couple of times in different places. In addition to that, because we load these items onto our website, I also include as part of this resolution or approval, if you will, the authority's mission statement and the authority measures associated, the code of ethics, which we amended for the purpose of being able to go and publish them as part of this reporting, as well as the lobbying contact policy for which we've indicated there was no lobbying activity for this year. Unless you have any questions, this report is approved by the full board as well as the committee because it's our own internal report that we send external.
So just a review here, but does anybody have any questions?
No.
So next up, we will move to a review of the annual investment report. Brian.
Very similar to section 2800, this is section 2925, and the three items indicated as part of the requirement for this filing, same group of individuals that we go and send the 2800. It's a independent accountants report on compliance with investment guidelines, which we were clean, a copy of our investment guidelines, which is also required. It's largely a template from the state. As well as an investment income and records. So that's really a combination of a summary of what our investment earnings were for the year 2023, as well as a copy of footnote 4, which details by grouping the investments we have. For the most part, we really invest in U.S. Treasuries. Our investment guidelines indicate the priority is preservation of principal, and U.S. Treasuries are typically obviously considered risk-free, as well as they're the most liquid. That if we need to go and obtain a certain maturity, that's typically the best way to go. And for the most part, as indicated earlier, we went from about 1.5 last year to 4.7 million in investment income associated with prevailing market rates, as well as incremental funds available to invest.
Wonderful. Does anybody have any questions? We'll move on to a review of the 2023 Internal Control Systems Auditor's Report.
So in addition to the auditor's reports that are specifically on financial information, the authority is required under the Internal Control Act to have in place a program of internal control review. To support that requirement, the authority contracts with an audit firm, Tronconi Cigar and Associates, who comes in and performs a process audit. Okay, and they do it on a revolving basis on various business processes, really defined in a generic sense. We had 3 audit processes performed this year, and they related to personnel, payroll, and benefits, facilities inspection and maintenance, and lastly, one that we do every year because of the significance and materiality, full collection and revenues, consistent with several prior years and the financial audit. They had no findings this year, which was very good. Okay, so we will put this on our website. It's again a third-party audit review, so we really don't have a chance to modify it, but the committee accepts it.
And Tricody Systems is in their third year or third?
They've been here since 2011.
2011. And when are they up for, or when is that contract
I
up
think
for?
we got another year or two left. We're doing them on a 5-year cycle, and then we go, I think we bring the engagement letter to the board every year, but the contract, typically we specify a 3-year contract with 2 1-year extensions. For the most part, they've come in far and away the lowest responsible bidder every time we've gone out.
Was there a big change, in how, taking Ash one away for the past couple of years, right? That you're no longer having told us, is there a big change in what they had to audit or in?
Yes,
the process?
okay, so basically the process is much different with staff collection as opposed to what happens at the customer service center.
Right.
Customer service center now is really transacting a lot of that. We have, a SOC, I'm familiar with SOC 1s.
Yep.
Okay, to go and indicate an assessment and confirmation of the controls of the service center. Historically, it really was a manual process where we would pay people to take in all the toll funds for the day, write out little deposit slips for everyone, compare them to the register, compare them to certain checking mechanisms. So that was a very detailed process. It's a little bit different now because most things are really executed, if you will, by the service center, but we're still obligated to perform all of the control checks over the service center to make sure that we're getting the service we're paying for.
Probably easier to audit.
Yeah.
Electronic.
I would think so.
In some ways, it is from a mechanical standpoint, but it's also, the scale of it's different. The scope is still pretty similar. Remember that, we're not getting, in the end, we were getting like $15,000 a day in cash.
Yeah.
Now we get $300,000 payments periodically that aggregates a lot of it. So if you remember, the bulk of our business before AET really was under EasyPass.
Right.
Okay, and we were running 82% was coming through EasyPass. Now we're up a bit higher, but everything really is driven around EasyPass, and that didn't change as much as you would think.
Thanks for the color.
And there, how put this, the fact that AET is still evolving. They're basically just looking for other gross holes, if you will, in the system or any of that, right? I mean, we're still developing the complete airtight systems, right?
Well, they're here to go and do 2 things. They're here to first go and make sure there are no control risks that would go and drive a deficiency or an inaccuracy in the financial statement. But they're also here because they have, outside experience with other firms, and they're trying to identify any areas of improvement that they could come up with. Okay, and that would include, they do recognize that we are still implementing certain parts of it, and it's a process. It's not okay, we're done.
Yeah,
Okay?
I was struck by the fact that they don't say suggested improvements. They're like,
They have in the past, but they're very minor.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
So I was surprised to see zero.
This time, right, that's
Great.
where this was going.
So these are monitoring our efforts and oversight of the process, not necessarily our contractors'
Right.
performance.
Right. You get that for yourself.
Well, in fairness, they would go and note a deficiency if identified where, we weren't holding a contractor to standards, right? So that would be involved. But yes, I mean, there are certain things that really are, they're beyond our control, okay? They're here to go and identify what is within our control and try to make sure that we're providing adequate oversight for those activities.
Second set of eyes.
Yes.
Thanks, Brian. Are there any questions anymore? So, any other business? I guess hearing no other business, we can adjourn the committee of the whole if I can get a motion to do that. Second,
Second,
Joan, and, all in favor, say aye.
aye.
Aye, we're back to the board meeting.
Back to the board meeting. All right. Next up on our agenda is the Employee Recognition Awards. And this week, several people around the table are going to be honored for some honors that they have received. Minoshka and I spoke about it, and we thought that it was very important to recognize the folks that sit around this table when things come up. So first, we would like to congratulate the team led by Francine, no pun intended, for the 2023 Excellence in Cybersecurity Award. So we have employee recognition to Francine Rivera-Byrne. Thank you. We have one for Julianne Srow. Unfortunately, Danielle Moss and Sheena Fitzpatrick are at training today and can't be with us. So that's
Thank you
good.
so
for-
much.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, great. And we will make sure that Danielle and
Thank you so much. Thank you.
next up is Jeff Wright. Jeff, come on up. In recognition and excellence in engineering for your oversight of the Newburgh Beacon Bridge North Deck Replacement and All Electronic Toll Collection Project as the recipient of the 2024 ACEC, American Council of Engineering Companies, Gold Award for the Construction Inspection Consultant by HDR. And we know that this is, been a long while, through from design, construction, getting the construction inspection team. But it was a great project, and you should be very proud of everything that you've done. Thank you. Last up is for Lauren. In recognition of your excellent leadership potential, as shown by your admission to the IBTTA, the International Bridge, Tunnel, and Turnpike Association Foundation Leadership Academy, class of 2024. So the leadership team here at the Bridge Authority continues to do excellent work and set a high bar. And we as a board are greatly appreciative of all that you do every day. So thank you again to the whole team. Okay. Next up is to adopt the regular meeting minutes of February 15th, 2024. Do I have any questions or comments from the board members? Right. Do I have a motion to accept and adopt the regular meeting minutes of February 15th, 2024? Thank you, Alex. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Lanny. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni. Aye. Alex Berardi.
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert.
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The meeting minutes are approved and adopted. Next up, we have Minoshka's report to the board. Minoshka?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. I'll start with our strategic planning that continues with the help of staff from the Thruway Center of Excellence. And we have been working on establishing a vision for the authority for the near future as an actionable way to ensure that everyone in the organization is working towards a common goal. By creating a forward-focused vision, we look to create an increased sense of responsibility and purpose throughout the authority. In terms of labor management forum, in addition to our authority-wide meetings, we decided to have meetings between the labor representative team. As directors, we alternate our directors meeting now going into all the different bridges, so we get to meet everyone in the bridges and the facilities. And therefore, that is a good opportunity to meet with our personnel. We have been meeting with them. We have already met with the Mid-Hudson reps, as well as the Newburgh Beacon bridges. Hiring has begun for our 2024 summer seasonal positions. Most of our positions are part of our maintenance teams, with some office-related positions as well. We pay well, $20 an hour, 40 hours a week. And we, once again, will offer career enrichment workshops every other Friday for participants in this program. Please let everyone know we want to be able to fill all the positions that we have. There are approximately 30 of them. So if you know anyone over 18, in good health, please let us know. In terms of mental health and wellness, we have continued to explore ways to enhance the resources we provide for employees for their mental health and wellness, including ensuring that our managers are prepared with the tools they need to help employees after responses to traumatic events. This month, we met with the Suicide Prevention Center of New York to explore training options while also talking to a number of sister agencies to identify what policy enhancements we can make based on what others are already doing. In terms of community, as you've seen, we've had many winners of different awards. Our directors are rolling. Lauren received the IBTTA Foundation Leadership Academy Class of 2024. Francine and Danielle received the Cybersecurity Award. NYSBA received the award from the Coast Guard, and they named Francine and Danielle as the culprit for NYSBA winning this award, which was great. So my congratulations to them and their teams. The same with ACC provided HDR with a consulting partnership because of the excellence in engineering. And of course, it wouldn't happen without Jeff. So we are very excited for the work that the engineering team produced to allow for these exciting awards to come into the agency. In addition to that, we've been busy going into the community. I was invited by the new NYU Stern MBA program in celebration of Women's Month. I was part of a panel called Don't Wait for Permission to Lead Yourself, a morning fireside with the Dean of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Chris Stever also visited the Rotary Club of Wappinger Falls, where he focused on sharing information about the upcoming Bear Mountain Bridge Centennial. We have also partnered with the Dutchess County Regional Chamber of Commerce, and we are hosting like 4 or 5 high school students that are coming and working with us and shadowing the directors to get exposed to real world careers. And they are being placed in 4 different departments and will be with us till the end of April. We also met with Mayor Flowers from Poughkeepsie to discuss, collaboration between her office and our agency, as well as potential future initiatives that we could do together. And we provided her with a tour of the command center that she was interested in visiting. MWBE and STBOB meet and greet is happening on March 28th at SUNY Orange Newburgh campus. We have over 300 people registered, representing over more than 200 businesses from the engineering, construction, consulting, architecture, as well as many suppliers. Exhibitors at the event include 4 state agencies, the Empire State Development, MWE Division and Small Grants Division, OGS, the STBOB Division, New York State Power Authority, and New York State Thruway Authority, as well as some of our prime contractors and consultants. We submitted our raise grant application administered by USDOT to pay for a state-of-the-art dehumidification system on the Mid-Hudson Bridge. A special thanks to Commissioner O'Brien.
Right back at you.
And he's a great friend. And to our consultants at Majeski and Masters for their immense help to the NYSBA team during this application. We're also grateful to the numerous letters of support that we received from local partners and elected officials. Instead of our collaboration with the Hudson River Skywalk, we have partnered to install new signage for pedestrians who travel along the Hudson River Skywalk on the east side of the River Winkle Bridge. Some of the existing signage is confusing for pedestrians, so these new wayfinding signs will improve how people traverse along the skywalk and provide good access to the Olana Historic Site, as well as the Thomas Cole National Historic Site by foot. Walkway over the Hudson is also undergoing their strategic plan, and they requested that NYSBA sits with them as they take this journey. Our PIO, Chris Stever, will be representing NYSBA at those meetings. In terms of finance, engineering will present a lead abatement and payment contract that I have put forward. And in terms of finance, February 2024 traffic was great. We had 4.6 million vehicle crossings, higher than 2023 by 342,000 vehicles, representing 99.1% of our recent high of January 2020. In terms of easy pass utilization, it represented 88.3% of the revenue, consisting of 1.83 of valid tag reads and another 0.27 million of iTolls. This traffic represented 94% passenger vehicles and about 6.5% commercial vehicles. January 2024 revenue was 5.5 million, 88% was easy pass revenue, 5% tolls by mail, 6% tolls by mail fines and fees, and 1% overweight fees. This concludes my report, and I don't have any activities to report to the board. Thank you.
Yes, Michael?
And this was, I knew it was a far-fetched, but the second grant that we were looking at for bridges,
Yeah.
did we throw anything into that?
Not for that, but there is upcoming infra grant coming up, and that one is actually the grant that another bridge authority got a dehumidification grant for, so I'm hoping for that.
Okay.
It's open.
This one, our bridges are in great condition, so we didn't qualify. Right. Yeah. That's true, yeah. Any other questions for Minoska?
A lot going on.
There is a lot going on. There is a lot going on. Next up, we'll go to our business items. First up, we have two administration items from Frank. First is our prompt payment annual report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everyone. Pursuant to the authority's prompt payment policy and public authorities law, we are required to annually complete a prompt payment report, which is attached in your packet, which I'm pleased to announce shows you that we had no late payment fees paid last year, once again. Following the adoption of this resolution, that report will be submitted to PERIS, which is the Public Authority Reporting Information System, and hard copies will be mailed to the chair of the State Senate Finance Committee and the chair of the Assembly Ways and Means Committee.
Very good. Questions, comments from the board? Do I have a motion to approve and adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Michael, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Lanny. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up is two resolutions. We have the annual procurement contracts report, and then we have the 2024 procurement guidelines. Frank?
Thank you again. Public authorities law and the authority's guidelines for establishing standards for the use, award, monitor, and reporting of procurement contracts require an annual report detailing information on expenditures and contracts over $5,000 entered into during 2023 or ongoing previous years. The report is attached in your packets, which is part one of the resolution that I'm asking to pass. In addition, the board annually reviews and adopts the authority's guidelines for establishing standards for the use, award, monitor, and reporting of procurement contracts. The guidelines are also attached. The only change in that from last year and previous years is the Office of General Services contacted me last year and stated they no longer wanted to receive.
Oh, okay.
So following the adoption of these resolutions, the report and the guidelines will be submitted electronically to PERIS,
with hard copies mailed to the Department of Economic Development, the Senate Finance Committee, and the Assembly Ways and Means.
Questions, comments from the board members? All right, I will take a motion to approve the first resolution, the 2023 annual procurement contracts report. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Michael. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Maria. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni.
Aye.
Alex Berardi. Lanny Gilbert.
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The first resolution is approved and adopted. Next up, we have the 2024 procurement guidelines. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Michael. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alex. I'll call the vote. Alex Berardi.
Aye.
Maria Bruni.
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert.
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Thank you, Frank. Next up, we have engineering and maintenance, Jeff Wright. First up, the KRB girder span, lead abatement and painting.
Right. Good morning, everyone. So we advertised in the New York State Contract Reporter for this project. We received 3 bids, with Atlas Painting being the low bidder at $10,340,000. The engineer's estimate was $12.2 million. As part of their bid, Atlas notifies that they intend to meet the MWBE and SDBOB goals of 30% and 6%. And so we're recommending that the board approve Atlas at $10,340,000.
Just one quick question. No local contractor.
There is a local contractor in Highland that's, but in terms of the scope and being able to do
It's not in
the
there.
big projects, it's.
Not in their
yeah.
scope.
Most of the firms, a lot of firms are from Western New York,
Yeah, I see that.
Ohio.
Yeah,
And your firm had to start with the letter A in order to.
okay, great. Any other questions from the board? Do I have a motion to approve and adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Lanny. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Michael. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni.
Aye.
Alex Berardi.
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert.
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up is the Mid-Hudson Bridge Traveler Drive retrofit.
Yes, so we have electric motors that have been powering our travelers under the Mid-Hudson Bridge, and we've had issues with them throughout time. In the last 5 years, we've spent over $125,000 worth of money keeping them going. And we have to take the motors in the wintertime, put them back out. We looked into American Crane, Rexroth, Bosch Group, and also Motion Industries to see if they could do retrofit for us with making the motors hydraulic. So Motion Industries accepted that challenge and have provided one of the travelers to be fully operational now, utilizing hydraulic power, and it seems to really be a great way to go. So we're looking for the board to approve a total of $204,495.00 for retrofitting the other 5 travelers that we have underneath the.
It's a great idea. Are you viewing this as like a prototype?
Well, that's why we set up the one as a prototype, to make sure that we felt that that was the way to go, and you know, with the maintenance guys and Greg involved with that, they believe that, you know, the way it's functioning now, it's great.
I can't believe the other companies weren't in.
It's
been interesting.
right?
Yeah.
It's like we want to make your product far better and far more sustainable and reliable. And it's like, no, we're not interested.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're a reliable customer.
Yeah.
we pay our bills
Yeah.
On time.
on time.
That's, and that does make a difference with contractors.
Yeah,
I stress that to them all the time when they're bidding on our jobs. that
Yep.
We're not the throughway or the DOT. We pay.
Here, here, watch out for the DOT. I still have great affinity.
But we're a smaller agency, so we're able to, address things
Yeah.
like whatever.
Yep. All right, thank you for that, Jeff. Do I have a motion to approve and adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Alex. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Michael. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Ferrardi,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up is the purchase of 2 Silverado electric vehicles.
Right, so, following through with, trying to, follow EO 22, we're looking to purchase, 2 electric vehicles as part of our plan to become all electric by 2035. So, we're looking to purchase 2, crew cab pickup trucks. And, we've, gone through a mini bid process, and the low bidder is for both trucks is $155,546.16. We also are, in addition to that cost, we're looking into the $7,500 potential savings per car from the federal government.
From the federal government. So my question is, will those 2 Silverados be able to make it from Spencerport to here on one charge?
I don't care, they have to get, once they get here, we'll make.
We'll make sure they stay charged.
But I would amend the chair's question to say, and then plow snow when they get.
No.
No, I will say these trucks will not plow snow. Not all of our pickups plow
Right,
snow.
okay.
So there still are not EVs out there,
That
you
do
know,
that.
that
That was the
hold the
question.
two of, a real load, but, as part of our conversion, these will be used as normal pickup trucks, all the time. And we only have 1 or 2 at our facility that actually plow, the parking lot, so.
Right.
It's fine.
All right, do I have a motion to approve and adopt the resolution? Thank you, Maria. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Michael. I will call the vote. Maria Bruni.
Aye.
Alex Ferrardi.
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert.
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up, the Jobs in Progress Monthly Report.
All right, spring is here and we're working again. So at the walkway, the contractor has begun, doing the steel repairs again, over at the walkway. And then, the painting contractor at Bear Mountain for the towers is scheduled to start next Monday, starting to bring in, concrete barrier and mobilizing down there. So you'll start to see, scaffolding going up, soon and all that project will be built.
All right. Questions, comments for Jeff? All right, do I have a motion to approve and adopt the Jobs in Progress Monthly Report?
So moved.
Thank you, Michael. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alex. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni.
Aye.
Alex Ferrardi.
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert.
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up, financial. Brian, the monthly investment report.
Thank you, Chairman McDonald. The monthly investment report reflects 8 investments, all of a routine nature. Those are reflected in the investment inventory report. Currently, the maintenance reserve fund stands at a balance of 103.6 million, as we continue to go and kind of build up to the replacement on the deck at the Bear Mountain Bridge. The rest of it, some of the buildup is related to carryover from the prior year. That will continue with projects that were originally scheduled for last year. Interest income and yield came in at 4.34%, which is consistent with prior years as we make our biannual bond payment in January.
Questions, comments for Brian? All right, do I have a motion to approve and adopt the monthly investment report?
So moved.
Thank you, Alex. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Michael. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni.
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The monthly investment report is approved. Next up is the 2023 annual investment report.
As it was discussed in the committee, I'm not going to really repeat myself too much. So this is just for the board to approve, and we'll distribute this as required under Public Authorities Law, Section 20 and 25.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve and adopt the the 2023 annual investment report?
So moved.
Thank you, Alex. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Michael. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up is the 2024 annual real property and disposal reports, disposal guidelines.
This one? 2,800?
Yeah.
It's
2,800 now.
I have it right here. I don't know if it clicked.
What do we have?
The annual investment, now we're up to the annual report.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, the 2,800 annual report. That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, there we go.
The same thing from
Yep.
the committee.
Yeah.
Same principle as the investment.
Got
report. I just need a board name.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve and adopt the annual report, section 2,800 Public Authorities Law?
So,
Thank you, Maria. Do I have a second?
second.
Thank you, Michael. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Lane Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The report is approved and adopted. Now we'll go to the 2024 annual real property and disposal report guideline. Brian.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is something we don't put in the committee. This was something I picked up this year. It's basically a requirement under public authorities law as well as various directions. So it consists of 3 items: the guidelines and procedures for the disposal of personal property. The only change year over year is to name myself as the contracting officer. Next is a copy of the real property report, which is a duplication from what was in section 2,800 public authorities law reporting. And the last is reporting of our 2 disposals with market values of the assets over $5,000. We disposed of 1 skid steer with a bunch of attachments and 1 tractor. Both of them were sold at auction for $5,000.
Question, comments from the board members? Right? Do I have a motion to approve and adopt the guidelines?
So moved.
Thank you, Michael. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Alex. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The guidelines are approved and adopted. Next up is the fourth quarter 2023 quarterly operations report. Brian?
Okay, in addition to the auditor's report, we typically go on a quarterly basis and provide the board financial information in the format as part of this report. This report is for information purposes. So no action really required by the board. This will be the last report that I bring to the board related to 2023 financial information. And just at a high level, as noted by the auditor, you know, traffic was up 4.39%, revenue was up 5.58. A lot of that was driven by the traffic. The rest of it was related to the toll schedule increase. There was some mix of traffic changes there. Operating expenses were up 12.96%. The majority of that really related to 2.5 million in retirement costs associated with, you know, the value of the underlying assets and the actuaries' computations associated with the employee retirement system, the pension. Okay. The rest of it, we were up 700,000 in salaries associated with the return of the seasonal program, as well as contractually obligated wage and salary benefits associated with the settlement of collective bargaining agreement in the month of December. Professional fees were up a bit on bridge inspection rotation cycle, as well as some incremental use of adjustment masters. And lastly, the electronic toll costs were up 700,000 year over year. Part of that had to do with the fact that in 2022, the Mid-Hudson Bridge was only on AET for 10 months as opposed to 12 months. More or less, there was nothing really all that surprising in here. Operating expenses were budgeted at 53.2. The big discrepancy there related to shifts in the OPEB liability associated with discount rates and other changes in the assumptions by the actuary, and as well as, some changes as it relates to pension as well. Came in at 43.8, so we did pretty well. Big chunks of that come in December. We depreciate the value of the walkway over the Hudson for 1.6 million. A couple of other items that we do at year end. The authority's capital program was originally budgeted at 32.5 million. We came in at 16.1. The remaining programs to make up the difference, as I indicated before, will be carried over and performed in 2024. So it's not really savings, it was just trend. Okay. As I indicated, there's no action required by the board, and this is the last report I'll bring for 2023 operating activities. If there are any questions.
Questions from the board members? Okay.
Year is over.
We have no human resource issues. We have one item for IT, Francine, the system-wide server replacement.
Yes, this year, the IT department has 11 servers slated to be replaced as part of our backup replacement program. They're all being replaced in accordance to that program. All servers will be repurposed as needed. Through an RFQ process in the New York State OGS contract, Drive Technologies, a New York State certified MBE, provided us the lowest price quote of $86,160.60 for the 11 servers, and this expense is identified in our capital improvement program.
Questions from the board members for Francine? Okay, do I have a motion to approve and adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Lanny. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Michael. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni.
Aye.
Alex Berardi.
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert.
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. We have no bridge operations. Command Center, Frank will be presenting the resolution on behalf of Danielle, which is the New York State Police, Mid-Hudson Bridge Traffic Control. Frank?
Thank you. The authority pays New York State Police to provide traffic control during the weekday, morning and afternoon traffic pattern changes during rush hour at the Mid-Hudson Bridge. Provisions are made for these services each year that are allocated and approved in the budget for the Mid-Hudson Bridge. New York State Police invoice the authority a maximum of 4 hours per weekday, Monday through Friday, excluding holidays for this service. In February of 2024, the authority received notification from the New York State Police Budgeting Office that the hourly rate for the provided service, which is currently $149.33 an hour, has decreased to $143.50 an hour. The reduction is attributed to the recent trooper recruitments and the governor's initiative for hiring more troopers, resulting in a decrease in the hourly overtime rate. I asked the board to approve a not to exceed amount of $149,240 for the New York State Police Mid-Hudson Bridge Traffic Control Services for 2024.
Okay, questions, comments from the board for Frank?
Thought it was a typo first.
Do I have a motion to approve and adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Thank you, Alex. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Michael. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni.
Aye.
Alex Berardi.
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert.
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up, electronic toll and toll out. Jeff Weiss, first up is these pesky invoices from the Thruway Authority. First up is invoice 109.
Thank you, Chair McDonald. Good morning, Commissioners. I have received and reviewed the November 2023 Thruway invoice for EcoPass and cash tolling expenses in the amount of $824,075.35. I find the cost to be true and accurate and request approval to pay the invoice.
Questions, comments from the board?
I've already got it, Jeffrey. So moved.
Okay, thank you,
Oh, I'm
Michael.
sorry, I forgot.
Thank you, Michael. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Alex. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up, the last invoice for December 2023. Jeff?
Okay, again, the December 2023 throughway invoice for East Jessica and expenses in the amount of $619,652.22. We reviewed those, find them to be true and accurate, and request approval.
Okay. Questions, comments from the board? Do I have a motion to approve and adopt the resolution? Thank you, Alex. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Lanny. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni,
Aye.
Alex Berardi,
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert,
Aye.
Michael O'Brien,
Aye.
and I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. Next up is our New York State Thruway Authority credit card reimbursement.
Jack, thank you once again. Throughway Q4 Easy Pass credit card reimbursement invoice in the amount of $282,968.77. We reviewed those. Those are standard invoices every quarter. We found them to be true and accurate. We request approval. Great. 2.36 covering around. That's fantastic.
Yep. Questions, comments from the board?
Don't lose the rate.
That's what you get for paying your bills on time.
Yep. Do I have a motion to approve and adopt the resolution? Thank you, Alex. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Michael. I'll call the vote. Maria Bruni.
Aye.
Alex Berardi.
Aye.
Lanny Gilbert.
Aye.
Michael O'Brien.
Aye.
And I vote in the affirmative. The resolution is approved and adopted. We have no media and public information, no presentations for the board. Any old business from the board members? Any new business? All right, our next meeting is April 18th. It's on the early cycle because there's Thursday. Do I have a motion to adjourn from the board? Thank you, Maria. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Michael. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Today's meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.